And finally, the last principle is imani, or faith.
We believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory over our struggles.
Thank you. When we look around our culture today, what do you see? What does it look like to you? I just attended a Christmas party last week on the 75th floor of the, whatever that big tower is in Seattle. And it was really an interesting party. It was a party of a business firm, and there were people there from different countries who were drawn to this engineering work that the firm does, environmental engineering. And I learned that the firm hires people from wherever they're born because they need really good minds, really sharp, creative people, genius kind of people. And the businesses will bring in people from around the world, wherever they come from, whenever the need arises. They scan the world to bring the right people there. So it's like a small international community, which is very interesting. And so if our children where we live in our communities are developing their minds, if we're encouraging them and they're developing creativity and confidence and faith and strength, then those children will be on the 75th floor of that tower maybe sometime in the future at a Christmas party. I want all of our children to have that kind of confidence. Don't you? Don't you? I mean, I really worry when I hear people say, well, you know, the norms are a little bit different now. The standards are a little bit different now for mathematics or for science. What? My prayer is that our children will grow to be smarter, more creative, stronger, more faithful, more hopeful in their own future than we ever were. And so for me, you know, this is part of the reason for Kwanzaa. It is a big reason for Kwanzaa, to encourage the children of the future, the adults of the future, to be strong, that you can do it, that you can have a future, that you can be the leader, that you don't have to look at your past or your family's past and say, I'm limited by that. Because are we limited by the past? We are not limited by the past. Kwanzaa is a powerful reminder to us that we are responsible. That we are responsible on this day after Christmas to remember the magic that moves in us and to use the magic to spark us to move our children, to bless our children, to encourage our children, to motivate them, to recognize them, to nurture them, to teach. You know, when I watched this young woman with her baby in her arms on Wednesday night singing a song, I thought, that baby is going to grow up to be confident. That baby is already confident because that baby knows that when there is a need, it will be met. Am I right? And all children need to know that if there is a need, that need will be met. To motivate, to encourage, to recognize, to nurture, to teach. You know, like I do, that it takes a village and more to raise our children in this culture today, in our country today. It takes more than 2 parents, doesn't it? It certainly takes more than one. It takes us every time we see the opportunity to see the magic inside of those children. To say to them, I know that you can do it. I know that you can. I know who you are. I know what's inside of you. I know who you are. Tell me what you're excited about. Tell me what you want to learn more about. To recognize the light in them even when they do not see it. To let them know that the struggles they experience can be overcome. Do you remember a time in your life when somebody told you that you could overcome? Do you remember a time in your life when there was an adult who said, I believe in you. I know that you can do it. Do you remember that? You know, part of the Kwanzaa tradition, which we're not celebrating at this moment, and I don't know if we've done it here in the past, is to fill a cup and to toast the ancestors, to remember the names of the ancestors who have meant a lot to us, who have helped us on the way, who have built us up, who have taught us, who have inspired us, and then to pour the water, the libation, into a pot or a bowl to recognize those ancestors. We're not going to do that at this moment this morning, but I do want you to think about that. When you go into the next room after the service for coffee or for something sweet or for conversation, I want to encourage you to think about one person who lifted you up, one person who didn't accept that you were limited. When you said, I can't do that, they said, oh yes, you can. I'd like you to think about one person and then tell somebody the story of one person who believed in you and saw your true nature, who saw your strength, who saw your beauty, who saw your life, who saw your gifts. Will you do that? Think about that, okay? And then try to tell somebody when you go over there, because you know you're going to talk to somebody. So go over there and talk to them about somebody who lifted you up during your lifetime. You have known struggles because you were 12 at one time. You were 18 at one time. Boy, I'm glad I don't have to do that again. You may know what it feels like to be lost and afraid. And you can tell those 12-year-olds or 18-year-olds yourself how it was for you and how you overcame that time. You can overcome. You did overcome. And we continue to overcome. You are fantastic. You are the light of the world. And you see the light of the world because of how far you've come. You tell that to the children in your life today. I try to remember to tell my daughter. Sometimes she says, you're just saying that because that's what moms say. No, I'm saying it because it's true. Perhaps what has been born in you this Christmas is a powerful mentor, an adult who will be an aunt or an uncle or a friend to a child, a kid in your neighborhood, maybe one of the kids in this church, somebody you see every week and you don't even know their name yet, but maybe you can. Maybe it's a kid in your own home or in your own family, because they need us. If they are going to be successful in the world, they need you to know that. They need you to believe in them. They need all of us. They need each other, and they really need us. They need a bold, spiritual voice, and that's what can be born in you this year, this Christmas. Your blessed adult this year may be growing to be a spiritual advisor, a director for children, for other adults. So what are you going to take on this year in your spiritual life? What are you going to take on? And remember that taking on, this is my personal lesson, taking on doesn't necessarily mean doing more. Because I don't know about you, but when somebody says, hey, I got a new book, or I got a new class, or I've got a new thing for you to learn, I'm just like, oh boy, I got to empty some of my closet before I can put more stuff in it. You know what I mean? Literally and figuratively, got too much in my closet already. So sometimes it may be that we develop the Sabbath in our lives more fully. You know, Jesus told us to stop, to make one day holy, and just stop it. Stop working in the garden. Stop putting food in the freezer. Stop baking. Stop it for just a little while and rest. Rest your spirit. Rest and be blessed and fill up again so that you can minister to the world. Rest. And that is my biggest gift this year, is that I know God is telling me, stop. Just stop the noise. Stop the activity, right? Does anybody else have that one? All right, then. So stopping gives us an opportunity to fill up so that we can be vessels for God's work. Is that right? And that's what we all want to do. But I cannot do it if I'm crawling on my hands and knees to get to you. You know what I'm saying? I cannot do it unless I'm rested and I'm filled. So it may be that you have a new commitment to rest, to slow down, to read a book that's funny, to study something important to you, to play a game at home. Our games get dusty sometimes because I don't play enough. To know structure for just a few hours a week. Are you on overload? Do you have too much going on? Well, you shall overcome. Cerny, you're going to play some music, aren't you, right now?